Alrighty. Hello everybody. This is Show here, and now, before we do start, let us give a brief little review. A number of things have happened. We had Deku, and we also had War Machine. These two have managed to come to some middle ground. Rhodey knows Pepper might be funding a kid to be Iron Man, but the kid has built tech of his own to be a better hero. Now, Deku, him and Rhodey need to work together to take down Hammer Industries, Titanium Man, Detroit Steel, Shockwave, and Force. Four people who are using Iron Man tech to be superheroes, quote unquote. Now, this is all bad. These four, they are trying to be heroes and use Iron Man's tech for their own personal gain. As far as they can see right now, they're being hired heroes, showing off the tech and what Hammer Industries can do. Yes, people don't like it, some are even concerned about it, especially because of Mr. Hammer's spotty reputation. But, at the same time, over the course of a week, those people piloting the suits have shown they are heroic. They've stopped supervillains, and they've stopped crime. Meanwhile, the real Iron Man, quote unquote, Izuku, he has gone dark. He is beginning to make another Mark II, heavily modifying it to combat these individuals. And while he was working on that, somebody else took up the mantle of Iron Man. And Deku found out who they were. Quite simply, they made a homemade suit, and they are using technology that looks like you get it from bits and pieces everywhere. I mean, he's not gonna lie, it's still impressive to make and create, but he's got a better toolkit than they do. And the only person who has a better toolkit right now is Justin Hammer. So, hopefully he can encounter this person and stop them before they do something that either gets them hurt or somebody else hurt. Because their suit, yeah, he's not very confident it's durable enough, especially for what they're trying to do. He's tested designs before, especially for the Mark III being his lightweight suit. And this suit might have less stuff in it than that. Now, with that being said, Deku, he went out for the first time in a week. And while that's been happening as Iron Man, Deku's personal life has also showed some growth. A girl named Sasha in his engineering class. Smart, pretty, and remarkably forwards. He can talk to her about philosophy and ethics. He can talk to her about machine work and certain other things. He hasn't gotten very personal with her, but her and him, they've grown quickly to become friends, rather than just staying associates. And that is what Deku, he does rather enjoy about her. She's not afraid to talk to him, not afraid of his intelligence. Where most people are in his class, she isn't. It's a nice change of pace. Now then, with that being said, currently Deku, he tried to go out. Tonight he couldn't find the Iron Person, and he is going to try again tomorrow. Hopefully, though, he can just set Friday to tell him when they pop up. And Deku, yeah, he went back to the armory and tinkered with the Mark II again. And he made sure to get closer and closer to having this one finished. And that does mean quite a bit. Now, the 2.1 is on the verge of completion. And Izuku, he's quite happy. The more he does certain things, the better he gets at creating them. And he actually is trying to streamline designs for the Mark III. However, he has told Friday quite simply, if this one's going to be portable, he needs it to be good. And she has been working around the clock to find out the best thing he can create. Now, with that being said, Deku, he does get to head out again today. And he finally does get to see something. Deku, he does get to fly overhead and through the city. As right now, let's cut to that person. They do get to fly down. Them going to actually land on the ground and bring their hand down. Them doing a superhero landing. As you get to sit up and look around. And currently, the thieves do just stare at the person, who is... Oh, come on, why is there so many of these metalheads around the city today? Now, they're a bit more surprised, and they do to watch these people bring up their weapons. The person going to actually bring their hands down and fly up into the air. As currently Deku, he does get an alert. And the person, they took down the thieves with close quarters combat. And she did take their weapons. Now, Deku, he currently does to tell Friday to give him a live stream of exactly where the person might be. And Friday does to update him. Her beginning to go through into the city's maintenance and camera surveillance, trying to inform Mizuku. Last known location is currently, just give me a map. Now, Friday does to plot the course, and Deku, he does begin to fly. Friday showing him live updates as to where this person is. Her changing to different cameras in the area and making sure to at least look towards the sky. And that does mean quite a bit. Now, there actually is this person. They're pretty happy that they got some tech. And that does mean quite a bit, as currently they're flying through the air with it currently in their hands. And Deku, he actually does go to fly down. Him going to actually spin his body around and talk about it. Are they going somewhere? The person going to look up and see, oh, come on. Then I'm going to put on their air brakes. And Deku, he does continue to fly. Him flying there upside down as he had activated his own air brakes. Him bringing his hands up and over his own head. Him slowing himself down and talking about it. Him going to actually balance himself back out and stand there. Listen, he's going to make this quite simple. He knows it's ironic coming from him, but their tech is not very well made. Yeah, I got that. Listen, I'm working on it. Just let me go. I could do that, but those are energy weapons. And I don't think you're ready for those. And who's to say? They could bring his hand up. Him. He's Iron Man. You're not Tony Stark. I know. Not the point, though. I'm trying to be a hero. And your tech, it's not bad, but it can be better. Listen. I know for a fact being a superhero has been hard for me. I'm willing to help. If you're interested. Really now? And how can I trust you? They're going to fly forwards and talking about it. He's already hacked into their suit. They don't have an AI to help balance things out. And from what he can tell, they don't have weapon systems. They're purely a physical combatant. Huh? But how did you... Listen, I can lock you out of your suit anytime, but I can also tell your integrity is bad. What do you mean? Your HUD. There's nothing there. Besides, you're good, I can tell. So just try better. Now, there actually is currently a War Machine. War Machine, he got a bit of an alert. And whenever he heard about this new person as well, he was concerned about finding them. Though, he was more intrigued about looking into Justin Hammer, finding out the identity of these employees and seeing if they're legit. And so far, nothing has been found. Their identities are highly, highly classified. And that means a lot. Technically, they don't even work for Hammer Industries. So that is the first red flag they have found. Though, they're not even put under weapons contractors, or possibly people who are even on the payroll. So what are they getting out of this? What exactly under the table shady deal did Hammer give them to be pilots in this little experiment? Now, Deku, he's got a lot going through his own head. And while Rhodey is dealing with this current problem, Deku is dealing with the one in front of him. Because this person here, they really, really don't want to do quite a bit. Now, whenever Deku basically told them to hand over the weapons and he can help them with their tech, they didn't believe him. They think that currently Deku, he wants to be the only person flying around in a suit. So what did they do? They turned and tried to fly off. And Deku, he just sat there. Huh, isn't this a little familiar? Now, he does play cat and mouse with this person. And right now, they try to get away from him. But Deku, he's always there at the end of the day. They fly left, he goes left. They fly right, he goes right. They go up, he goes up. They go down, he goes down. It's simple. They were not going to outrun him. And the person, they were doubting that. Up until they thought about using one of the weapons currently in their hands. Though, they didn't want to attack him. And that does say quite a bit. Now, currently the person, they are flying through the air. And their suit, it never gave them the alert that power was running out. And right now they do have 5% remaining. Their suit going to actually glitch as they go smashing down to the ground, flying at high speeds. And Deku the moment he does see that, he actually going to fly down. Him going to actually grab onto their armor and pull them up in the air. Right now Deku avoiding a bus as the person, their leg smashed into the top of it. And Deku, he actually going to hold them up in the air. Are you crazy? Ow. Okay, no, that hurt. That really hurt. You're lucky. Listen, I'm gonna set you down. You need a recharge. Now, the person, they did understand. And Deku, he flew them to the top of a building and sat them down. Now, currently a security alert does get a head out. And someone, they're a lot more intrigued to encounter Izuku. Now, they do to fly off, since the alert talked about criminal activity. Now, currently Detroit still does a head out to try and find Izuku, aka Iron Man, because he may have just broken the law, destruction of public property, and that has consequences. And currently Deku, he is talking with the person on a rooftop. Them going to bring their hands up and grabbing under their helmet. And they're debating taking this thing off. Their suit's bulky, and some of it is cutting into their skin, but they'll be okay. Listen, I'll do you a favor. They go bending down. Bring his hand down with his repulsor onto their chest, asking exactly what they use to power the suit. Oh, a basic battery component I created. Right. How much energy can be put into it? Not a lot. It's last me about an hour or so. Okay, good. Now, Degu's will put his hand down onto their unibeam, expressing. He's going to give them a quick little jump. Hopefully it's... Let's see. Friday, run the calculations. Who are you talking to? AI. Now, the person in their suit does a jump up. Currently, them going to get onto their feet and look down at their hands. Whoa. All their systems are in the green. Good. Listen. Modify your tech a bit. See what you can do there. Make improvements, and if you can, I'd suggest taking apart enemy tech if you can capture it. That's what you've been doing, huh? It is, yeah. You'd be surprised what you can get. Along with that, Deku bring his hand up, as someone comes to smash right into him, and him and the person to go flying. And Ironheart does turn her head, staring at where Iron Man used to be. Now, currently she does stand there, and Deku, him and Detroit Steel, they do go smashing down onto the ground. Currently, Deku going to bring his hands down and blast out, dragging across the pavement as if flying up in the air. I'm going to turn and yell about what exactly is wrong with them. And Detroit Steel does bring her hands up, expressing, going to start blasting out beams at Deku that he broke the law, him flying through the air and dodging her beams, bringing his hand down as the two go to fire beams that do go to collide. Her talking about how he caused public property destruction, and she is going to take him in. And Deku, he's a bit concerned with this crazy individual, as right now they go to bring their hands up and bring out the weapon systems. Them begin to blast out missiles as Deku, he doesn't bring his hands up. Him blasting out his beams as currently one of the missiles do a smash on directly in the armor and send him flying backwards. Him smashing into a car and going to land. Him going to get back up as the person is going to bring their hands down flying into him, grabbing onto him and bring their hands backwards, smashing him across the face. And Deku, yeah, currently he has to do one thing. He has to bring his hands up directly onto their armor and send out to blast. The person being sent flying backwards, smashing through the air. Them flipping through the air as currently they just steady back out. Them going to actually bring their hands up and blast towards him. As Deku, he's going to fly up into the air. The car going to explode. And Ironheart does get a watch on. Deku flying backwards up into the air and talking about how they need to stop. Besides, public property destruction, what did they just do? Now, the person says stare directly at Izuku, and they do bring up their hands, expressing to him that right now is not the point. However, they will take him down. Now, Deku does to watch their shoulders have pieces pop up, and Deku, he doesn't have Friday alert him. Something is locking onto them, and right now it will cause a lot of harm. Deku looking around, and civilians, they've begun to gather to see this. And Deku, he hates when they do that. I'm going to bring his hands down and blast up into the air. And Detroit Steel, she's going to send Heat Seekers directly after Deku. Now, Deku, he's going to fly up high. Him looking down and going to lock onto the missiles, blasting at them as Detroit, she's going flying up. Her trying to smash into Deku as Deku to bring his hands up, pushing away. Him seeing a burst of speed. Now, she's still flying up past him, and Deku does a stare up. Him bringing his hands up and blasting at her. Her trying to counter Deku. Now, whenever she's going to try and blast at him, Deku's going to bring his hands down, telling Friday to increase by 10%. And Friday doesn't understand. Right now, the system's all going green, as Deku is a blast up fast, smashing directly into her. And the two, they currently do start to roll and fly through the air. And that is a bit of a problem. And they're actually shockwave in force. The two, they're concerned. Because if this is doing what they think is happening right now, it's bad. The girl is a hothead. They know that much. She's egotistical. They know that much. And she doesn't think things through. They know that much. So, what exactly is wrong with her? A lot. Though, she does get that from her grandfather. And currently, she does go smashing directly down into a building with Deku. The two smashing through the roof and flying through 3 floors. Before the two, they do land hard. Now, Deku, he does get back up. Him currently going to actually stand and ask Friday how he's doing. Armor integrity at 75%. Power supply is currently at 58%. Good. I'm still good. Though, what about her? Now, Friday is going to inform him. Her weapon systems are believed to be offline. However, the fall may have decreased her integrity by 42%. Current integrity was further yet unknown. And Deku, he does get stared down. Them will actually look up towards him as they are bringing their hands up. And Deku, he's going to bring his hands up too. And these two, they use repulsor tech directly at close range, inches apart from each other. And that has been quite a bit. Now, the two blast out both of their hands, and right now massive explosions that send the two blasting through the building. Deku flying backwards through a wall and currently flying down, as she is sent flying through another wall, smashes through a window, and currently is tumbling down that side of the building. Now, Deku, he is trying to remain conscious. However, the amount of force currently being thrown around is not doing very good on his body. And Friday does try to alert him. Further force will activate emergency parameters. And Deku, he does understand. Now, Deku, he does try to balance himself back out. Him smashing down to the ground and actually going to step back up. Okay. I'm going to roll over. bring his hands down, and going to stand back up. Him a bit woozy. Okay, maybe this was a bad idea. Okay, no, note to self. Don't do that again. Right. Now, Deku does bring his hands down. Him gonna blast up in the air as someone they do to bring their hands up. Them flying down and blasting at Deku. And Deku, he is hit by some sonic pulse. Now, Deku's armor does begin to shake violently. And Deku, he does a look up. Currently Shockwave with his hands up, staring down at Deku. And Deku, he is not happy. As right now we do actually have Detroit Steel, who does gonna fly down and land. Her gonna actually walk up and stare down at Deku's armor. Steel, she is definitely annoyed. Her suit needs maintenance, and that means quite a bit. Though she is going to enjoy bringing Iron Man in. Though this person here is a known vigilante posing as Iron Man. So what does that mean? That means they need to take him out of the armor, take him out of the suit, and that can be done pretty easily. Now, Detroit Steel is going to bring up her hand. Her going to actually watch as her suit is going to open up. Something going to pop out as she does at least turn it on. And Deku's going to hear that sound. It is loud, cutting through the shockwaves. And Deku, he does going to tell Friday one simple thing. Get him out of here. Use 40% power to do so, if need be. Activate emergency safeguards. Override phrase. Tony. Now, Friday, she immediately activates the parameters. And currently Deku, he does going to have the suit stand up on its own and turn. It blasting out with full power directly at Detroit Steel. And under the suit is a blaster directly in the chest. Her being sent flying backwards fast. And right now the suit is a look directly up, bringing its hands down and blasting off with high speed. And that it does actually alarm Shockwave. The suit, it should not have been able to do that. And Deku, he is flying at maximum speed, burning through his energy. And right now Deku, he does feel his body go through the shock. Right now this massive amount of force he was hit with is beginning to wear off. The stress, however, on his body does not feel good. And it may take some time for him to actually recover. Though, he'll be okay. Now, Friday, she does need to have him put in the phrase before she can turn this off. And Deku, he does understand. However, he does allow her to take him back to base. And that is allowed. Now, Deku does sit there for a second. Him, more or less, just trying to rebalance himself out. Make sure he's okay. And whenever Friday does land him back in the armory, walk him over, and put him back inside his case, there is what the armor does it open. Deku gonna step out, as soon as the fall forwards, smashing onto the ground. And Deku, he's not having a lot of fun. Right now, him bringing his hand up and actually wiping blood from his nose. And that isn't good. Now, there's a turn. Him gonna lay down on the armory floor. And that was bad. She was gonna cut him open. She's a fucking chainsaw. Right. Okay. Friday? Yes, Izuku. How much damage are we looking at? Estimated shock value. Armor protection. You have been suffering from a concussion, and more than likely, you will need a recovery of several days to make up for the damage. Right. And the 2.1? Is it almost ready? Yes, it is. However, add several layers of armor. Are you sure, Izuku? Yes. Heavy plated steel. Need be. Heaviest, strongest, most durable equipment we have. Whatever. If I'm going to encounter them again, I need to be actually prepared. Understood. Now, Friday does get to work, and Deku, he has to do one very simple thing. He passes out on the armory floor, and if he does come to hours later, he does it to get up, him heading home. However, he does need to take things a little slow. Now, Deku, he does get home and spend some time lying in bed, before he does have to go to school later and meet up with everybody. And that does mean quite a bit. Deku, he is in class. However, today, instead of fabricating a few things, he's just designing them. And Sasha, she is here too. However, right now, him and her, the two are just trying to talk. And it does seem very strange. And Sasha, she is actually talking to somebody on her phone. Before she does go home. And that does tell Zuko a few things. He came in today and she was talking about how bad she felt. She wasn't feeling too well. And he got it. Though he still came today and look what happened to him. Yeah, he needs some painkillers. That being on his mind. And currently let's cut over to Ironheart. She got home and started to work on her suit, trying to make sure she can upgrade it and do what she can. And she even tried to take Iron Bro, Iron Dude, I don't know. Iron Man doesn't suit him. Iron Lad, though, sounds tacky. So, yeah, she's not calling him Iron Man. The Iron Guy, whatever. He did have the right idea. Implement certain tech into her suit. And the metal this stuff is made out of is good. So, maybe add a protective layering like that if she can melt it down. Along with that, actually use the energy source here that she finds in the gun and turn it into something different. Like a power source. You see, now there's an idea. He did have the right idea with this. That being on her mind. Now, War Machine has been up to quite a bit of things. And he actually is a little happy. He may have found some interesting things, especially about Shockwave and Force. So far, data is unknown on Detroit Steel, though he's fairly certain that her ID will pop up sooner or later. If he can find those two, he can find her. Though, he also should look into Justin Hammer's Titanium Man, because he might not be piloting the suit this time around. And if that's the case, he needs to know. Otherwise, Justin will have to come in for questioning from S.H.I.E.L.D., and that will be its own thing. So, if that's the case, this is getting worse. But there's also another problem. Someone got hurt today, and people could have died. Detroit Steel went too far. She tried to attack Iron Man. She could have killed several people with her weapons. And the fact is, these two caused more property damage fighting than she did trying to take him in. Deku, he encountered somebody and they broke a bus window. A fucking window. And that resulted in them almost taking down an office building. And several cars being destroyed. So yeah, that's a problem. Now, with that being said, Rhodey, he needs to talk to her, find out who she is, and hopefully get her on the right track. Get her away from Justin Hammer. And Justin Hammer, he himself has been quite busy, doing quite a bit of things. He's happy. He is being a hero, being the better man, because he's still alive. And with that being said, I do hope you guys enjoyed. And have an amazing day. I'll catch you guys in the next part.